Hey, and good Wednesday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski here back on the Weather Nerds YouTube channel. Hope you guys have a great day out there. Are you guys ready for the weather report? Yeah, we're going to talk you through what you can expect here for the day in the coming weeks. We're going to talk about the building heat. We got the summertime weather coming out, especially in the Northeast. You guys are really going to get really hot up there. Talk about the tropics. Things are starting to get a little active out there. So, again, beware of those social media hounds out there just trying to get you scared. Don't worry about that. We'll get you on par with that. And then we're going to talk about just how things are kind of evolving here for the rest of August as well. Now, before we get into this, if you're coming into this broadcast after the live broadcast, if you like no-nonsense weather, somebody that's going to give it to you straight, not scare the bejesus out of you, keep you prepared and not scared, then please consider hitting that subscribe button if you can. Give me a thumbs up. It does help the almighty YouTube algorithm. If you got a weather-related question, please post it down below. As always, I appreciate you guys helping to support the channel. Well, yesterday, our two hot spots. Let's see. Well, hot spot was 117. Had three places in Arizona hit 117. Tupac, Chipola, and Eloy. I think all in Arizona. All hit 117. Cool spot was Grand Lake, Colorado. Got down to 29 out there, going out there for yesterday morning. So, anyway, let's go ahead and see what's going on out there for today as we were dealing with, got some thunderstorms up here in the high plains. We got some storms out there to deal with, but again, just not severe. It does not appear to be on the severe side for today. That's the good news there, but we do have some out there. So let's, here we go, sitting right up in here. You see the storms there. Got some storms here scattered out in the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of clouds here across the East Coast. Still lingering. I'm hoping to break a little bit of sunshine down in my neck of the woods. Haven't seen much in the way of sunshine over the last basically almost week or so, but I think we're going to crack a little bit of sunshine hopefully here for today. Now let's go ahead and focus in on some of those thunderstorms we're seeing up there approaching the Des Moines area right now. So you can kind of see, again, these are not severe, but pretty good heavy downpours coming in through Omaha right now and through Omaha, Nebraska, and this will be coming into Des Moines as well. A little thunder, a little heavy rain in here. So just kind of be careful if you're going to be out on the road, especially out on Interstate 80 heading over toward Omaha. That's kind of a wet and dreary start to the day. Now let's go look at your overall watches and warnings out there right now. I'm not exactly sure why Georgia's keeping their flood watch up today. I don't see it being a big deal today, to be honest with you. I mean, we've had some decent rains over the last few days, but maybe over to the Carolinas I can kind of see that. And when I show you the excessive rainfall forecast today, you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. We're starting to see a little more of this. You're seeing some of this orange out in here. This is excessive heat out here in the southwest. We're going to start seeing more and more of that here over the coming days. And you folks in the northeast, unfortunately, you're going to see your fair share of that, especially going into early next week, the way things are currently looking out there for right now. All right, now before we go into the thunderstorm breakdown, which, by the way, the day 3 outlook on a thunderstorm looks pretty interesting. We got an enhanced area to watch, but I do want to do the tropics first here for this morning. So let's get you an update on that first. Let's switch over to there. Had a couple of upgrades this morning from the National Hurricane Center. They went ahead and upped this to 60% right in there for today. So looks like that storm, that wave out in the Atlantic is showing the best signs of development. Still kind of watching off the coast here as well. And there's Dexter, of course. Dexter is going to be heading on out to sea. Don't have to worry about Dexter too much there, as it'll continue to track out in the open Atlantic and still hold as a tropical storm there as it kind of moves out into the open sea. All right, let's look at our satellite picture here. There is still dust out here, and but it does appear to be diminishing a little bit out here. You see that that tan hue in there, and here's our tropical wave right there looking pretty decent. So it looks like this may actually overcome the dust and become a storm. Which one is going to form first, we'll see. But next named storm, of course, is Aaron, and we'll see how that goes for right now. You can see Dexter up here. Kind of looks like a bit of a hybrid looking system right there, but it's kind of spinning. Not taking off all that fast, but it's trucking on along right there right now. And we'll see how things begin to evolve out here in the tropics, because when you look at the overall ensembles, and boy, you see all these lines out there, it's a lot of stuff going on. So we got several opportunities here. You got off the coast here. You got Dexter moving away. We got this ensemble here. We got something trying to form out in the Gulf. So you just kind of get indications that, we're getting closer and closer to just, again, kind of flipping the switch, snapping your fingers. You're going to start seeing the tropics really start to get hot and heavy here as we go into deeper into the month of August. So you guys just beware out there. It does appear that the storm out here in the middle of the Atlantic will be the next one, but you see the trend is to keep this thing out to sea. And then there's another one behind this one that may come in behind here. So we got multiple waves to watch, and we'll see. We're getting into that time of year, and we'll see how things evolve out here through the rest of this week. All right, let's go look at the Pacific side. We do have Henrietta that's still out there in the Pacific, and we have this other disturbance now up to 90% chance we're going to see that thing develop. Probably get a tropical depression to form there, probably likely today as things begin to evolve out there as well. Here's our satellite imagery out here. Here's Henrietta out here, a little ball, not really the big factor here. And here is our disturbed area that's going to become our tropical depression here real soon. And our next name storm out there is Ivo. I like saying that. Ivo is our next name storm there in the eastern Pacific right there. So Henrietta, again, is going to stay, looks like it's going to stay north of the Hawaiian Islands, so not a big deal here. Should be up there, maybe kick up the swells just a little bit, but not bad for a tropical storm as this thing continues to move off in a westerly direction. All right, so let's talk about the breakdown for active weather, for severe weather for today. Let's go talk about that. Hold on one second, get that up here for today. And today's not looking bad, but I tell you that the next couple of days, though, things begin to evolve out there real quick. I'm going to break this down for you. Again, a lot of general thunderstorm threat, but obviously the marginal risk is up here. So we're talking up near International Falls and then through the Dakotas, Nebraska, Iowa, as we got those little storms going through this morning, Des Moines. Marginal risk for today. So not really a big deal there. There was some gusty winds and that kind of thing. Check out day 2. Now we kind of move up here to the high plains. We've got a piece of energy that's going to be riding here along the Canadian border. So we got this slight risk here coming out of Montana, North and South Dakota, and just kind of clipping a little bit of Minnesota there. This is going in for tomorrow, going into Thursday. Now check what happens when we go into Friday or go into our day 3. Look at that. We got an enhanced area up here going into Fargo, Aberdeen, Clark. Again, we got coming across into Minnesota. So we're going to watch this zone. We don't have the categorical breakdown for a day 3 outlook. That'll come tomorrow, but I do suspect we'll probably have an elevated chance for possible tornadoes in there as well, as this low is kind of skirting along the Canadian border there. Got some pretty good wind shear there, so I think we might see a potential tornado outbreak here across the high plains going into Friday. So stay tuned for updates on that situation. You see a lot of the country, though. Wow, look at almost the entire country's got some sort of general chance of seeing some sort of thunderstorm evolve or erupt going into Friday. Now let's back this up. Let's look at your excessive rainfall outlook for today. You know, excessive rainfall has been a problem this summer, that's for sure. And we're going to be looking at the southeast coast here. Again, you see this this low chance here for Georgia. I guess they just kind of kept that flash flood watch in because this was being painted in here. But it looks like mostly the coastal areas. So we're talking about getting to the east of Charlotte, Durham area, Florence, down toward Charleston, Brunswick, Savannah, this whole area. They got lit up pretty good with some thunderstorms yesterday as well. So it looks like they may repeat it and do it again for today. And then we got this little pocket. Obviously, we're getting some heavy rains this morning up here in Iowa here for your day 1. Let's check out your day 2 going into Thursday. Again, the high plains, that's where those thunderstorms will be erupting, and then the southeast coast. And we'll see day 3. Again, at least we're not seeing any yellows. That's when I start getting nervous. When you see the greens, it's kind of an isolated, heavy rain event, nothing that's going to be too big of a problem. So Wilmington down to Jacksonville, right along the coast there, and then up here in the high plains, obviously with that disturbance riding along the Canadian border. We'll watch up in here as well. Minneapolis back down into Iowa and heading over toward Montana. So that's going to be our day 3 outlook for that. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some models, shall we? We're going to be looking at our short-term models first. And we'll be looking at the NAM specifically. Let me talk about this first before I get going. Somebody mentioned this to me yesterday, and I need to go ahead and do this. So let me talk about this first. Talk about the smoke forecast here. So this is the high resolution model here. Let me get this thing playing for you here. And right now, it does appear that we're going to see some improvements out here across the Great Lakes. You still see the smoky hue kind of in here. You see the fires out in the west. Those show up pretty nice. But I think we're going to get a bit of an improvement here across the Great Lakes in the Northeast. I think that's temporary, though, because I think we're going to see another northwest flow begin to develop, and those fires up in Canada are going to blow some Canadian smoke back down into the Great Lakes in the Northeast eventually going into next week. So, but obviously you're seeing some pretty good smoke plumes out here in the west. Check that out in Colorado. There you see into Oregon, California. You can see where the fires are kind of lighting out in the west right now. It is wildfire season. And but the Great Lakes in the Northeast should see improved air quality, I think, coming your way there, at least temporarily. It does not appear to be that huge of a deal. All right, so let's go ahead and switch this back over here. We'll look at their short-term model here. We're looking at the NAM over the next 60 hours. And again, we're going to be tracking the system up here along the Great Sea, up here across the border. See that thunderstorms cluster there? Boom. Here comes some more up this way. So going into Friday, it'll be that secondary system. It'll be that secondary one. So this will be kind of riding on through. So it's going to be the secondary one that we're going to have to watch. This first one coming on through is not bad there across Montana. It just kind of lifts up in Canada. You see a little cluster of storms there going into Friday morning. You see that across there into areas there into the Dakotas. That's kind of drifts onto the south, but it's this next piece of energy, this one. This is the one here. Got a nice little spin to that. This is the one that'll give us our enhanced thunderstorm threat here across the areas of the Dakotas and into Minnesota. So that's the one we got to watch there. The rest of the country is really not looking bad. We're looking pretty quiet here for the most part. We're still going to deal with some air mass thunderstorms across the southeast, but their scope and scale is not really that high. So we'll watch that closely, and that's going into wrapping up the rest of our work week here on Friday. Rainfall totals, again, we got some heavy amounts here, possible here across the southeast, depending on where these storms kind of flare up here for today. You see Virginia out 10 inches. I don't know if we're going to get that high, but we got some clusters of some storms here showing some high rainfall amounts here across the southeast. So that's what we'll watch here going right through the next 36 hours. I'm going to take this all the way out to 60. I'm sorry, I didn't take it out to 60 all the way. My bad. So you can kind of see here individual pockets of some heavy rains there. Now up here into the northeast, or the northeast, northern plains, again, you're looking at Minnesota's coming back into the Dakotas, and again, the other piece of energy coming out there. So we got that one cluster of storms. Remember, you saw that cluster of storms sinking southward. Some pretty good heavy rains with that as well, up to 3 inches and some pockets in there. And then we'll watch this next cluster out of Montana. That'll be kind of riding this way, going into Friday into Saturday. So that's what we'll watch there. A couple scattered storms in the northeast. Very dry out in the west. Not seeing much in the way of rainfall out there. As far as the next 60 hours are concerned. All right, let's go check out, look at the temperatures. This is a good one. I love looping this when you can kind of see the temperatures kind of almost like breathing. You know, it's interesting because you can see a lot of that purple. You know, that's that extreme heat building. But look at all this green out here in the west. They're really getting a nice push in from the west here. Look at all this. I mean, that's below normal temperatures here in the northwest. Not going to last that long. It's going to heat back up again. But you're getting that next couple days, a nice little break up there. But watching the heat here, and it gets pretty hot, and especially here going into your Thursday. Be back up to your Thursday here. Look at some of these temperatures out here. I see 105 there in Dakotas, 104 out here into Texas. So we're going to really heat things up here in the middle of the country. Now, you folks here in the Northeast, you're not bad right now. Thursday, 76, 78, 74, 74. Enjoy it, okay? Enjoy it because as you go in early next week, we're going to see the return of 90s. Those feel like temperatures probably pop into the century mark, and we're going to probably see a return of a lot of heat advisories up into the Northeast, okay? So just be warned, it's coming, all right? Let's go into your Friday afternoon here. Let's go forward here a little bit. Go into our Friday, going out to the end of this till 2 o'clock. Again, you've seen the heavy hot temperatures here in the plains, but check that in green. 36, I mean, wow, that's amazing, seeing some of these higher elevations, seeing temperatures here in the 50s and 60s here on your Friday afternoon. So a nice little break here across Washington State, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. Nice. A little hot there in the southwest, obviously, as they're supposed to. They typically are. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the overall weather pattern here. Again, we're looking at the European here as we continue with this week. You see that little swing coming in here to go into next week. That's why I think that northwest flow is going to kick back in next week, and we're going to see something. Also seeing something in the tropics on the tail end of this run here again. You're going to get that this time of year because the intertropical convergence zone is starting to heat up a little bit. But again, we might see something tropical, but that is way far out. If you see anybody posting anything tropical saying, hey, look, we got a hurricane coming to Florida on the 20th of August or something like that, it's way too early to be posting that, folks. You're not going to get that. But next week, you see this trough coming in here, okay? You see that there's that big blue trough coming in. That's going to be that northwest flow is going to come back in here going beyond Wednesday next week. So that smoke that's up into Canada may drop back down again here coming across the Great Lakes into next week. So that's going to come back into the Northeast, and that'll cool things down. But before this trough gets there, it's going to warm up big time out ahead of that front. So you guys there going into Monday, you see all that heat, see that high pressure in there, it's sinking air. We're going to see a lot of heat building in there across the Northeast. out ahead of this trough as this thing comes in next week. So get ready for that. At least it'll be a hit and run. It should cool back down toward the end of next week, but you got a couple of days where it's going to be quite warm next week, and then this swings on out. Then we got another system kind of dropping into the northwest there, going in toward the end of next week as well. All right, so let's go ahead and look at your short-term forecast here. This is your 7-day, kind of looking where the precipitation is going to be, and you can see that drop down in here. I'm seeing the heights carting across. That's the cooler weather there. Again, we got a couple of days. We got to watch the storms here. Let me back this up here. Again, there's the day on Friday evening. This is our severe weather enhanced event up here on Friday. So we got to watch that area right there. And then as we go into your Saturday, going into your Saturday afternoon, again, a few storms here across the Great Lakes, scattered across the southeast. Might get a named storm out here, Aaron. That's that area of disturbed weather off the east coast that might develop into Aaron. We'll see. Or we'll see if the Aaron forms first out in the middle of the Atlantic. We'll see which one forms first. But that one looks almost like a clone to Dexter. So we may get another weak tropical storm out in the Atlantic as that moves on off. Then we're going to watch this frontal system come in for next week as we're going to see that rain and thunderstorms. Here it comes. Here's the front right here. You see that very well. So here's our cold front right there. We're going to bring in that cooler air coming in here. And again, it's going to be pretty hot Monday and Tuesday next week here across the Northeast, man. Y'all are going to get very hot. Here's our cold front. Here's our cooler air kind of coming on in here. So get ready for the heat first before that front moves on through. It looks like by the time we get to Wednesday or so, it should be back in that temperature off. Then that front's going to kind of extend to the southeast, so we'll see some scattered storms. And that front most likely will stall across the southeast, so you folks will probably see the rain chances come up across the southeast. We're going to get a little bit of a break backing off of those rain chances, but they may come back up heading toward Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday toward the end of next week. All right, rainfall totals here for the next 7 days, obviously with a couple of caveats out there. Obviously, we got the storm clusters in here that we're dealing with right now for the next few days. This is also for the next few days, and scattered storms. Still dry out here in the west. Next 7 days, not going to see much in the way of precipitation out there. But again, as we get deeper into the hurricane season, we got to watch the tropics and see where that enhanced rain is going to be coming on in here as we go deeper into the hurricane season. Now, as we go ahead and take a look at the temperatures going into next week, I've been teasing this, talking about the Northeast getting hot. So we're going to watch that purple really expand here. This is your Saturday afternoon. We're getting temperatures here in the 90s here back into Illinois, mid-90s here into portions of Missouri. Here's 103 degrees, 101 degrees here in North Texas. Cooler out here in the west, though. I mean, you got temperatures here in the 60s and 70s behind the frontal system. So let's go ahead and take you through the weekend. Let's go into your Sunday. We'll check out your Sunday afternoon here. Sunday at 2 o'clock there, you start seeing some of this purple. See this going into Sunday? Here's 92, 91, 91. So by Sunday, we're really starting to heat things up here across the Midwest and into the Northeast. Still very hot out here in the plains, and then it gets even worse going into Monday. So Monday afternoon, look at that. Look at all that purple up in here. So we're talking a lot of heat here building into the New England and Northeast states. So we got a lot of 90s in here, 93, 94, 93. 93, 96 near Philadelphia. So again, we're looking at a lot of heat. That means those field lock temperatures will be popping 100, 105 for sure. And you're probably going to see the heat advisories for next week. So get ready for that. Get those ACs ready. Going into your Tuesday, we're still looking at extensive heat. That front does not come through until Wednesday. So a lot of heat here into the Northeast. Kind of heat across the southeast. The rain chances are going to increase across the south. That front's going to stall down there again. So on the southeast, I know we're in my neck of the woods. Not seeing any increase of heat kind of coming our way just yet. Looks like that's going to stay at bay. Look at the Intermountain, 71, High Plains, 67. It's a nice little cool down there behind the front there going into towards your Tuesday. How about Wednesday? And we'll probably check this out to Wednesday. I like going out 7 days. Last hot day. There it is, Wednesday, right there. The frontal system will be knocking on your door there Wednesday afternoon. Here's our frontal system. Going to kind of lock it right on in here. It's coming on in. We're going to bring in that cool air coming in, but keep in mind we may bring the smoke with it. Unfortunately. So we're going to change out the heat with a lot of smoke, most likely blowing back into the Northeast. So just get ready for that. The Southeast, seeing a fairly warm day here in the 80s, got some 90s back down here toward the middle of next week, and still popping 100 degrees there in Texas, as well as the southwest portion of the United States. But boy, look at those high plains, man. That's going to feel pretty good. 71 degrees there near Minneapolis. That's pretty good. 73 down near Milwaukee. Chicago looking at 74. So that's a nice little cool down going in toward the middle of next week. All right, so let's talk about, let's see here. No, I don't want to talk about that. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about your climate outlook here. Again, we're going to continue to see that heat be a big problem here. You see it on the 6 to 10 day here across the Northeast. You're seeing it quite hot up in that zone. It's going to be quite warm going into next week. Now, the one thing I do disagree with him here is on days 8 through 14. I think this is going to be changed based off what we're seeing on the long-range models. We do have a nice cool down coming down there from the northeast, so I don't know if this map will stay true, if it at least gets back to near normal levels here going on in the extended. So I expect this map to potentially change here later today. Again, this is for the 13th through the 19th. Precipitation-wise, again, we're kind of seeing kind of a wet here in the east. Definitely wet here, and we're staying a little dry out here in the west. Again, that's from the 11th through the 15th. And as we go out a little bit further on the 8th through the 14th, looks like that dry pocket kind of moves out here into the central plains here a little bit. And looks like the monsoon starts to kick up a little bit here across. I've been talking about this, the indication that the monsoon is going to kick up back in across the southwest. It's now starting to show up on the long range here as well. A little bit wet here in the east, obviously, and then we got to watch the tropics. Are we going to get anything in here later in the week? We're going to get something in the Gulf, or we're going to get something on the East Coast. We'll see as we go deeper into the month of August, as we get closer and closer to the peak of the hurricane season a little bit later, going into towards September the 10th. All right, so that is y'all's update for this morning. I do appreciate you. Who we got out there watching out there this morning right now? We got Lou out there. How you doing? Woody. And you got Reed out there. Zoe, Mick watching from Arkansas. Good to see y'all out there this morning. I appreciate you guys checking out your weather report here for today. I do appreciate this. Again, if you are coming in to this update after the fact, please do me a favor, consider hitting that subscribe button. You know, we got to keep our, try to maintain our audience, which we're trying to do when we do these dailies. We really don't get opportunities to grow unless I'm advertising or doing some wall-to-wall coverage, which we are planning to do for the hurricane season. It's going to be called Hurricane Central, and you'll see it looks similar to this layout, except we'll have the storm information there in the top left-hand corner, and the weather report will be replaced with Hurricane Central. So that's kind of the format I'm going with there. All right, that's y'all's update for today. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe. I got to go to Fox 5 in Atlanta, do a little weather training on their one of their weather boxes for today. So I got to go do that here for today, and then I'm working at Fox 5 this weekend here in Atlanta. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I like doing the TV thing every now and then. So anyway, you guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you on tomorrow's report. Until then, y'all have a safe day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.